Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's show. My name is Spencer Walsh. Really appreciate you sticking with us today. Hope you are doing well in the middle of the apocalypse here. We'll take a look at why some people, especially related to the Democratic Party, may be regretting their coalescence today. Also, we'll take a look at the latest new members of the Pro-Death Brigade, the great time to figure out who's who and who believes what in the middle of this crisis. We'll take a look at the new coronavirus treatment drug everyone keeps talking about, whether it works or whether it doesn't. We'll take a look at why Donald Trump was not going to be ordering coronavirus supplies, vital coronavirus supplies. 10 Democrats are being applauded for stopping the GOP's corporate bailout that leaves Americans behind. We'll also take a look at the growing calls for possible remote voting and the spirit of 9/15 in a great article by the amazing, and we haven't talked about this in a while, the amazing Paul Bless, the return of his Splinter. Very, very fun stuff to see, and it's great. It really was encouraging. Probably the best thing that happened to me all day today was seeing on Twitter, by the way, you can follow me there, at SBW272, and a great piece of news was just seeing that. Probably my all-time favorite website ever, Splinter, had come back in the form of a new blog run by its former employees. It's called discourse.blog, and we're going to be talking about some of what they had to say on the show today. So that is great news. Probably as I said before, the best thing by far that happened to me all day. Hope everyone, by the way, is holding in there well. It actually ended up snowing in the Northeast today, which was insane, and a further sign of the apocalypse. Another sign is that I just knocked my microphone over, so there's that. Anyway, hope everyone's doing well. Hope everyone is staying nice and safe during the quarantine, for however long it may last. Hopefully not too long, of course. So, in the days after the coronavirus, and especially after last Tuesday, the message we've been beaten over the head with is that after the recent batch of primaries that Joe Biden is in, he's the man. The race is over. Bernie Sanders should drop out. Let's all end up behind a man who seemingly frequently seems to lose track of his thoughts or where he is mid-sentence. Like, we've all seen that coming. Let's accept that premise for argument's sake. By the way, for the record, I do not. Again, reporting here from Catherine Kruger, getting back at it on discourse.blog. That would mean the Democrats' presumptive nominee for the president clinched the race and then proceeded to fully disappear from public view for nearly a week during this pandemic. The leadership we're craving here in the time of crisis is apparently now building a new TV studio in wherever he lives, Wilmington, Delaware, I believe. Yeah, so he apparently spent there's pictures of his mansion developing out online, and it's like he now apparently is struggling to build a TV studio. That's literally what his staff spent this past week doing, which is constructing a TV studio in his basement, because there hasn't been the ceilings were not good enough for lighting, and he practically is a mansion with a guest house and like 2-car garage and all. Like, there are pictures of it online, and apparently the TV studio lighting quality is not good enough. Like, Bernie Sanders, by the way, who has a clothes chair in his house. He's not a high-flying guy, but he has been up and running with a live stream for quite a bit now. Like, it's kind of embarrassing that, like, he's being shown up by Bernie Sanders. But Bernie Sanders is not a technically marvelous guy, and I know he did not do the tech. Like, I'm not an idiot. Like, he didn't do the tech, but the fact that his team just didn't have their act together here, or he didn't have his act together, like, it's crazy. And the fact that he hasn't said anything, he hasn't even done some sort of video. The only thing that he did was drop a thumbs up on this Instagram parties, this virtual party this DJ named DJ D Nice was doing. It was a pretty cool thing. He ended up doing this mix show, not too similar to our own mix show, Uncultured, on Instagram, where he was just playing some music over the stream. Got up to 100,000 viewers. And Joe Biden just drops in. Joe Biden's Instagram account, obviously, like, there's no way Joe Biden was tuning into the DJ D-Nice party. They dropped a thumbs up, which was eventually just put out on Twitter as by Biden staffers as iconic. Like, he dropped this, literally, it's just a thumbs up emoji, and they immediately signed right off, right in the middle of this global pandemic. And he's the guy who probably a lot of the country would want over Trump to be the next president. But he has said nothing. He has not put forth a response. He has not done a TV interview. Like, this is incredibly uncustomary to see if you're Joe Biden and if you're trying to be the next nominee. And if you think that Donald Trump is doing such a bad job running this response, which, I mean, I'm sure he does, like any human being with rational sense could make a very good case that Trump's waffling on this, Trump's poor response on this. We'll get to even more how poorly that response has been later in the show. But he has said time and time again, you can make the case that President Trump's response has killed probably hundreds of thousands of people at this point. Like, a lot of the deaths in America have been, probably could be traced back to a better White House and federal government response, not saying the virus was a hoax 2 weeks before we had to shut down American life as we know it. Like, that probably would have been the better premise. So, yeah, for those keeping track at home, Biden won big on Super Tuesday on March 3rd. That night he addressed supporters in person. This happened kind of awkwardly, as you may be able to tell, in which he said he memorably did this. Remember, this seems probably like 3 months ago.
They don't call Super Tuesday for nothing. By the way, this is my little sister Valerie, and I'm Jill's husband. Oh no, you switched on me. This is my wife. This is my sister. They switched on me.
Yeah, yeah. Remember that? That seemed like literally that seems like an eon ago. Yeah. So he won big on Super Tuesday. That was March 3rd. That was 20 days ago. But last Tuesday, March 17th, Biden won primaries held in Arizona, Florida, and Illinois. That evening, the former vice president delivered brief remarks via live stream from his home in Wilmington, Delaware. He said the coronavirus pandemic should be akin to fighting a war and will require leadership and cooperation from every level of government. This is a moment where we need our leaders to lead, he said, speaking in front of a disconcerting black backdrop and two hastily placed American flags. And this is how he ended that memorable speech, that very 6 minute and 6 minute and 30 second speech, and we can play that ending for you here. And this is how it turned out.
My hopes are high because I believe in times of crisis, Americans have always stepped up. We have to step up and care for one another. Thank you all. Thank you all for listening.
He's just staring at the...
Thanks. Okay.
He's just staring there. And then his wife just goes, Joe. I don't know if you heard that last part at the end, but yeah. Poor Dr. Jill. Yeah, seemingly trying to just prompt her husband to follow him. So, and then that was it. So that was the last time he spoke in public. That was when his wife had to beg him to come off the stage and the camera was ended or whatever. That was the last time the American public saw Joe Biden on camera. And 3 days out of the spotlight, this strange reporting began to appear. Joe Biden says he is desperately looking to be in regular contact with the American people, perhaps with regular press conferences in Wilmington, Delaware, or using technology. They're telling me there's ways we can do teleconferencing via us all being in different locations, he says. So yeah, Biden, he's beginning to learn about broadcasting. It's pretty cool. So another couple days went by. Biden's account had been tweeting while another man vying to be president released a comprehensive plan to fight the virus. But who cares about him, right? What has he been doing in the meantime? Well, he claims to be spending up to 7 hours a day on the phone with policymakers, his staffers, elected officials, and just other health experts, according to LA Times. So Apparently, he did appear over the phone with a virtual fundraiser on Sunday night, so that was pretty cool. Love to see that. And he apparently addressed the visibility question, saying, quote, "How do we get more of you? How do we get out there, look like you're maybe trying to run for president?" He softened the ground on his formal return this morning by putting out a short scripted video, which is how that works.
President Trump and Mitch McConnell are trying to put a corporate bailout ahead of millions of families. You know, it's families. It's simply wrong. We should be focusing on families. The White House and the United States Senate Republicans have proposed a $500 billion slush fund for corporations.
That's all true. Looks like he was in a sweater in what was a pretty clearly green screen backdrop of a bookshelf. Then he delivered prepared remarks via live stream where he sympathized with healthcare workers and people during the virus, but mostly just called for not attacking Obamacare during this health crisis. At least the background didn't look like a hostage video, which was good. He also then called the Massachusetts Governor Charlie Baker Governor Charlie Parker. Then he was gone for 6 days. It was really cool. So, and it was, funnily enough as well, filmed in the same shirt that he filmed the last message in. That was 3-4 days ago, which was pretty crazy as well. And also, funnily, his teleprompter stopped working. That's not even in there, but it's a really hilarious clip of his teleprompter just being like, his teleprompter clearly breaking, and him saying, so this is part of his live stream address, where he, there's an important piece of visual context you won't be able to see on this, but this is the clip.
In addition to that, we have to make sure that we are in a position that we are. Well, let me go to the second thing. I've spoken enough of that.
So yeah, what he's doing there under his podium, his Biden podium, he's just making it a little kind of like he's wafting a nice aroma around the kitchen is how it describes the motion. But he's doing it under the table, like he's trying to get the teleprompter to go up. Like, come on. So his teleprompter there clearly broke down, and really kind of to hilarious effect. And it just shows you that, like, this is the guy who is leading the Democratic Party in the face of the coronavirus, the biggest public health crisis that we've probably ever seen since, I don't know, like the Black Plague or the Spanish flu. And, like, he's the guy who's trying to take out the guy who said that this virus is a hoax. So it's pretty important that we got a guy who seems to possibly maybe have his act together. And this is what we're getting so far. We're getting absolutely nothing of any kind of substance. We're not getting any kind of a plan. He's not making a TV appearance. Like AOC, for example, she's out there she was on State of the Union. I saw it on her story. She was very, very clear in saying that she was going right back home afterwards. And I'm sure he could Skype into a show if that was that important. So like that, the health aspect of it shouldn't be that much of a concern, but, it seems to just not be working for him. It really seems to be not working for him. There's some reason why they are keeping him inside, and it's very, very disturbing, because if Bernie Sanders doesn't win the nomination, like what are we bringing here into this general election as Democrats? Like, we need someone who's going to come out and make sure that Donald Trump does not get to take this response into the next crisis and doesn't lead us into the next crisis. And I mean, I don't even know if I feel comfortable with Joe Biden leading us through the next crisis, let alone Donald Trump. I wouldn't be breathing a sigh of relief saying, thank God Uncle Joe's in there helping us along. Like, do you really think he would do something substantially different from the package that Donald Trump's proposing? I mean, sure, he would be more susceptible to pressure from the left, but I really don't know if we would have seen some sort of substantial pressure, some sort of push in the right direction from Joe Biden to create systems in the wake of a coronavirus-like disaster, if something, God forbid, happens like that under his administration, or if he was the leader right now, like, what would he say? Like, what would he push for? Or more importantly, what would his advisors tell him that he needs to push for? Who would his advisors be in this time? And would they be somebody like Lloyd Blankfein, former CEO of